Hey, I'm Woody Wyatt, and a couple weeks ago I asked the beautiful people over on Instagram which band's discography they wanted to see me rank next, and they said Mother Mother. Special thanks to @NotHereRightNow for the suggestion, and without further ado, this is every Mother Mother album ranked from the worst to the best. Mother. Originally forming in January of 2005, Ryan Goldmond, his sister Molly Goldmond, and former member Deborah Jean Krillman self-released their album in autumn of that year under the name Mother, before inevitably changing it to Despite a few lineup changes, this band consistently released albums throughout the coming decades. However, for the most part, they didn't really see any success outside of their home country of Canada. But then COVID happened. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, during the lockdowns, this band's music went insanely viral over TikTok, creating a new generation of fans for this band and giving this band way more success than they have ever had. And honestly, just speaking from personal opinion, I completely get why. I was kind of late to the party. I didn't really know that many of their songs at the time when everyone else was getting into them. But a couple years down the line, when I started going to music college, I became really good friends with people that loved this band. And I started to just kind of get into them that way. And while they definitely have some weaker albums, which we'll get to, I am shocked just how much I like this band's music. As a band, they have released 10 studio albums, and I'm gonna rank them all. Starting with their 2014 album, Very Good Bad Thing. And I'm going to be completely honest here, this thing's a mess. Very Good Bad Thing isn't the worst thing I've ever heard, it just really feels like this band trying to evolve in ways that just don't fit them. I mean, just listen to that opener and lead single Get Out of the Way with its dark, aggressive tone and its heavy use of synths and distorted guitars. It's edgy, it's in your face, it's hey! There's something in the way! One of the most ridiculous things this band has ever put out, and the rest of the album isn't great either. The song Shout If You Know has this insanely repetitive chorus that gets really grating really quickly. Although it's not as obnoxious as the chorus on Monkey Tree, which sounds like it's being recorded on helium. This song is also a pretty good example of one of my least favourite things about the more modern Mother Mother albums. That being that they just keep sticking to the same topics. I mean, if I'm honest, I am so sick of these kinds of songs from Mother Mother about being quote unquote not like everyone else. I never went to your school. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. They've sung about this so many times and it's just getting old at this point. But yeah, this album is just kind of a failed experiment. It's way too overproduced, it's way too polished. I've definitely heard worse, but in terms of Mother Mother, it doesn't really get much worse than this. Get up! Then we've got Dance and Cry. Now I probably should say there is definitely a gap between this and Very Good Bad Thing. This is not that bad. It just feels like they're really playing it safe here. This one's meant to be a pop album, and in my opinion, it just feels a bit uninspired. They didn't really take any risks here. And as a result, most of these songs kind of just go in one ear and out the other. The few songs that do stand out do not stand out for the right reasons. Like the title track, which just feels like the band are in a game to see how many times they can fit the words dance and cry into a song. The song Get Up genuinely sounds like it would be in the end credits of a kids movie. And the only other song on here that's even remotely memorable is the song So Down, and that's just because God damn it, who let the pterodactyls into the studio? So yeah, by far the most bland thing that Mother Mother have ever put out. Next up, we've got No Culture. And yeah, you can basically take everything I said about that last album and paste it here. It's yet another pop album. And again, it's fairly safe. I mean, I remember the opener because it's basically just movie trailer music. And I remember Back in School, but that's just because it's lyrically shit. But with the vast majority of the album, all I can say is just, it's fine. It's alright. The only thing I will say, the production on here is not great. It sounds like they're trying to mix everything to be as loud and overwhelming as possible, and it just doesn't work. To me at least, this is on the same level of quality as Dance and Cry. I just put it higher because it's more interesting. This was the first of many albums that this band released that just gave me nothing to talk about. Another album like that being Inside, released in 2020. On this album, they're trying to take themselves a lot more seriously. They're trying to do a darker, heavier sound, which they continue on the next album. And again, like with the last two albums we spoke about, it's kind of just mediocre. Considering how creative this band can be and were on their best albums, it does feel a bit disheartening to see them do such a generic radio rock kind of sound. Songs like 2 and Sick of the Silence could have basically been made by any band in the past 20 years. The worst songs on here are the more dated ones like Forgotten Souls and I Got Love. Those songs are so dated, they honestly remind me of that Kyle Gordon parody that was going viral a few months ago. You know, this. 'Cause we will never die. Overall, this album's a bit more ambitious than the last two, which is why it's higher, but it still doesn't work. When I die, I'll let go. Then we've got Grief Chapter, and it's an album, alright? This album's trying to take itself even more seriously than Inside did. Honestly, I feel bad for them because this album clearly is meant to be some big statement. You can very much tell that they were trying to do something big and epic with this album. And it's a shame because they still ended up making something that's in one ear and out the other. I definitely liked this album a lot less when I first heard it last year, but while it's grown on me, I still can't really say it's anything special. And if I'm being honest, this is the last album on this list that I don't like. I kind of just want to skip it. So get ready, because every other album on this list, I am at least positive on. Mommy did it, Daddy did it, funny little monkeys in the zoo do it. Coming up next, we got The Styx. If I had to describe The Styx in one word, it would be ambitious. Not only is this thing apparently a concept album, but also it's by far the most diverse album that this band has ever made. But if I'm being honest, almost all of the experiments they try to do on here, they pull off. The title track is actually one of my favorites on here. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be like their version of When the Levee Breaks, but don't quote me on that. It just kind of sounds like When the Levee Breaks, especially with that snare sound. Although it's not as good as the song that follows it up, Let's Call It Love, which is almost like pop-punk-ish. I love the bright indie rock of Invincible and Businessman. Bit by Bit is probably the biggest song on this album, and I really like that one as well. After that song though, this album does start to lose me. There's a lot more slow acoustic stuff in the second half, which kind of ruins the pacing of the album. But overall, great album, and honestly, probably their most experimental. Next up, we've got Nostalgia, and wow, I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. Considering how disappointing a lot of this band's later releases have been, considering that this was the album cover, and considering they were releasing this big, ambitious 20th anniversary special album only like less than a year after their last one, I wasn't expecting much. But wow, I'm impressed. This thing's brilliant. The songs Love to Death and Station Wagon very much remind me of their first album. Love to Death in particular, I think is just one of their older songs that they re-recorded. Both of those songs are great, but Station Wagon especially is just beautiful. I really love the song On and On. It's a really sweet tribute to their keyboardist, Jasmine Parkin. Funnily enough, I know some people that don't like the song Make Believe, and I do not get it. That song is brilliant. In fact, of all bands, the band that song reminds me of the most is actually Devo. Also, this song is a great example of just how good the songwriting can be from this band. The way this song keeps throwing new sections at you, new surprises, without it ever feeling like too much, it's brilliant. I could keep going listing things I like about this album all day, but there are definitely some problems. I know it's an obvious point that everyone that's reviewed this album has made, but the song about fingering. It's funny how a man feels ashamed when that woman puts her finger in his ass. Really did not need to hear that one. Also, the album definitely feels a bit messy. Like, it's basically switching from one style to another from song to song, and it just doesn't really work a lot of the time. But still, great return to form for this band. Let's just hope they can do something this good again on the next album. Touch up, I need a touch up, I need a touch up, I need a We're in the top 3 now, and coming up next is Touch Up. This is by far the band's most acoustic, most folky album. It's very much an outlier in their discography, being the one album that sounds completely different from the rest. But honestly, I think it's one of their best. In fact, it was honestly hard for me to pick whether I should put this at number 2 or 3. A lot of these songs have these very chaotic, jittery, stop-starty song structures where they're constantly switching time signatures and you can never really tell what's gonna happen next. Especially on songs like Dirty Town, Oh Anna, and the ironically named TikTok. This gives these songs a really interesting feel, and I wish that this band kept doing that on some of their later albums. The song Verbatim is also really good, has kind of a Beck feel to it. The title track's also pretty good. Honestly, considering how early in their discography this album is, it's really impressive. Next up, we've got Eureka. I've seen a lot of people call this album their best, and while I don't personally agree, I do get why. Because this album, while not as diverse as some of their other albums, is just great song after great song. The opener, Chasing It Down, is probably the best opening track on any Mother Mother album. Again, it's a great example of Mother Mother's just insane songwriting abilities. So much interesting shit going on in this song, I love it. The 2 singles off this album, The Stand and Baby Don't Dance, are also really good. Especially Baby Don't Dance. That song is almost like what Little Sister by Queens of the Stone Age would sound like if it was happy. Original Spin, Oleander, and Calm Me Down are all underrated as hell. The song Getaway is a really pretty sounding acoustic track. This album's a lot more straightforward than my number 1 or even Touch Up, but it's still probably one of their best. I honestly don't really have anything bad to say about it. But still, this band has one album that I would consider even better than this one. And that album is... It's just a body of yours that I leave all alone. It's just a body of years, now a pile of bones. Their second album, Oh My Heart. I know it's an obvious choice, but it's obvious for a reason. This is definitely this band's creative peak. It's pretty much just great song after great song. This album pretty much took everything that was great about Touch Up and just expanded on it, improved it. You get a song like Burning Pile, which starts off very minimalist like the first album was, but just constantly evolves and evolves, getting bigger and bigger in scale. And when you get to that final chorus, it is just glorious. The opening track on this album is also great and it's been stuck in my head for ages. Body of Years is a great track as well. It honestly reminds me of the Pixies. In fact, I actually found a recording of this song where they mix it with Gouge Away, so I guess I'm not the only person to make that Pixies comparison. The songs Ghosting and Arms Tonight are a lot softer and add range to this album. Both of those songs are great, especially Arms Tonight. I love that chorus. Body is also great. Another song that I just cannot seem to get out of my head. But of course, if we're going to talk about great songs on this album, we have to bring up the big one. I wasn't on TikTok back when these songs were going viral, but I did hear the song Hayloft, and it did genuinely become a favourite of mine. For a good while, it was the only song I knew from them, and I would just listen to it constantly. And to be honest, I'm still not sick of it. It might actually be the best song on this album, in my opinion. As well as being by far this band's catchiest song. I mean, it's basically just hook after hook after hook. So yeah. This is definitely this band's most interesting album. It's got some of their best songs on it. It's pretty much a no-skip album. It keeps you engaged from start to finish. And that is why Oh My Heart is the best album that Mother Mother have ever made.